With the ladder dropping fairly soon, the topic of getting rich quick will come up again, and in Diablo 2, there's a lot of common ways people go about farming for better items. Some are better than others. Today we're going to talk about the 5 most common mistakes I have seen in various communities, as well as what you should be doing instead. Number 1 is going in with too much magic find. Now, before it's said, this actually has very little to do with how magic find percent works. Needless to say, you'll never reach a point where it doesn't add a little bit. But this is instead to do with more important factors for farming of any kind, and that is item drop rate. Your first priority should be killing quickly, which generates more drops, since without a drop, Magic Find does absolutely nothing. The other factor in this is that Magic Find only affects items that have rare, magic, set, or unique forms. So it does nothing for runes, item drop rates, or base upgrading from normal to exceptional, or even elite. It just answers the question of, is this item magical? Which is a question that is asked after all of those previous questions are answered already. Not to mention in situations like getting your White Monarch for Spirit, your Flail for Heart of the Oak, or your Polearm for Infinity, you sometimes want this answer to be no. So you may want to specifically aim for 0 magic find in a number of situations. Number 2 is thinking more players is always better. The only time you want a higher player count is for chest farming, base farming, and rune farming. This is because you want to get as many drops as possible as quickly as possible off of any kind of item source you can find. Whereas if you're hunting uniques, sets, or rares, in many cases, you're better off farming solo if doing unique mob runs like level 85 areas, since unique mobs will always drop an item and 4 potions, or farming with only a few players for act bosses and certain special enemies like the Council, which can drop slightly more for more players, as long as it doesn't slow down your killing speed. The amount of people struggling in Players 8 games for items is far too common for this not to be hammered home a lot. Number 3 is more of a newbie-ish mistake, or people who haven't been watching Diablo 2 online much, but one that comes up a lot when most people post screenshots about being mad about Diablo only dropping them magic items or Baal only dropping them rares, yet in the screenshot you see a magic monarch or a rare druid pelt or any number of other potentially GG items that your average player won't know about, and this is doubly true for these base items that lack any set or unique item drops, because that means they could be godly items with double or triple durability on top of that. While listing off all the items like this you should pick up would be a video in and of itself, there is a reason I pick up rare class-specific items as well as gloves, boots, belts, circlets, jewelry, and yes, even several base weapon types, not to mention picking up magic jewelry, certain shields, circlets, and even a few class-specific options. There's a lot of possibilities to find items that can surpass similar unique or even runeword options, even if they're super uncommon. Number 4 is something I can only call the level 85 or bust movement, and it's gotten grotesquely rampant with how much the term Holy Grail has gained popularity. While yes, area level 85 locations are amazing for farming specific items, even necessary in many cases, they can work against you. Probably the most well-known case of this is the Stone of Jordan farming, which is best done in a few locations in Nightmare, not the least of which being Nightmare and Dariel. This is because it trims off higher level options, meaning the Stone of Jordan is competing with less possible unique rings when a unique ring drops. This actually applies to a lot of things, such as the level 42 class-specific uniques like Jalal's Mane, Titan's Revenge, and Oculus, and a few others, which you want to roll an exceptional base for rather than elite, which means you want to farm them in areas where their base cannot upgrade to elite, so it only has the option of giving you a normal difficulty rare or an exceptional unique, not the potential of an elite item that could be rare or a unique you don't want. And this applies to every exceptional unique that is used in endgame builds. And lastly is number 5, I'll just call over-optimization. This is when you spend your entire ladder reset or even just the entirety of your normal playtime building more and more efficient builds just for farming, burning yourself on doing hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of the same run over and over and over in an almost bot-like manner. If this is cathartic to you, continue on doing it. But a common message of getting tired of farming X and not finding Y should tell you you're doing something wrong. If you're getting tired of farming X, play a different character and farm Z, or do a challenge run to mix things up. You will find items while playing, period, as long as you open chests and kill things. Even if just playing through the game in a relaxed manner with each class will usually net you several high runes, a nice mix of unique sets and rares, and let you learn different places where each class shines, so you have way more options to farm stuff. To put it in perspective, I have found as much in the past year testing out weird builds across original and resurrected versions of the game as I did in the same amount of time doing the crackdown farming I did to finish the Holy Grail and stock up on high runes before that. So don't be afraid to do something else to mix it up a bit.